We had one more thing that I was thinking about talking about. I honestly, it is garbage. It really is. Do we want to go into this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll go into it. So the last article we have today comes from Bounding into Comics. And I pulled this up because if you're not aware, first off, we love The Lord of the Rings. We love them. And we're talking about The Lord of the Rings, not The Hobbit. And we're talking about the movies, not the book. The Hobbit trilogy had moments of, it was kind of cool, but overall it was a dumpster fire. However, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, masterpiece. We actually were rewatching it. But if you weren't aware, Amazon bought the rights to the Silmarillion, which is a Lord of the Rings index. And now they've acquired more rights, but they did this so that they could make a Lord of the Rings prequel series called The Rings of Power.
Yes.
This trailer for The Rings of Power debuted, and you criticize me all the time about this, and unfortunately it is the result of conditioning, but when you immediately notice that certain checkboxes are immediately hit, and the worst part is these checkboxes could not exist in anywhere in Tolkien's Middle Earth.
I know.
That guy was crazy about the level of depth he went into for his world.
Well, because he was one of the first authors who kind of did that, who took the unknown and created his own imaginary place with all of these different races and creeds and an entirely different universe.
An entire timeline of it, too. Thousands of years of development, thousands of years of races and progress and whatever, wars.
Yes. And they have so much backstory behind each one, which is absolutely insane. The man was a genius when it came to setting things up and living within his own mind and being able to bring that out.
Absolutely. And he did it all based on kind of a European, especially Britain development. I mean, he painted an amazing picture to the point where even after he died, they're still unraveling things that he was developing. Even his son was still guarding it. And now that he has died, unfortunately, the gatekeepers are gone. Amazon has bought all these rights, and Jeff Bezos is quoted as saying that he wants a new Game of Thrones. And for anyone who isn't even remotely familiar with Lord of the Rings, its similarities to Game of Thrones are literally fantasy, the word fantasy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because Game of Thrones is political, backstabbing, lust.
Yes.
It is, I mean, we can all agree the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones are gold. After that, it teeters and then it just falls off the cliff.
Well, the idea that there are different things beyond the realms of just humans. That's really the only thing that it's got going on for it.
Basically, yeah. Because one is like politics, espionage, and like I said, lust for power in every sense of the word.
But a lot of these people haven't gone out and read into fantasy.
Oh, no. There's a very famous quote from Tolkien himself, and it's from the books, that evil cannot create. It can only corrupt. And now we're seeing the results of Mr. Jeff Bezos. And unfortunately, when you watch this trailer, you see, like I said, certain checkboxes which actually could not have existed, which literally shows this whole thing is a stunt to, would you say wokeify? No. Diversify Tolkien's early writing in order to fill their agenda and hit their checkboxes.
Which is like, okay, if you want a fantasy world,
make your own.
Make your own.
Yes, that's what they're always telling us. If you don't like it, go make your own. Yeah. Well, we did, and now you've taken a hold of it and corrupted it. So anyways, from a famed Batman writer, Chuck Dixon, he calls it an abomination, and I would agree too. I mean, absolutely. Now, a prolific comic book writer known for his long runs on Batman, Detective Comics, and The Punisher recently shared his opinion on why he believes what Amazon is doing to Tolkien and The Lord of the Rings is an abomination. Dixon, who also adapted Tolkien's The Hobbit into comic book form, sat down for an interview. I'm kind of skimming because there's a lot of pictures. Dixon responded, "The state of contemporary adaptation is pretty miserable, film and television, because they want to change the work. They find things in the original or the source material that offend them, or that they feel don't fit our postmodern sensibilities, and they alter them. And it's a crime. It is a crime," he added. Dixon would then specifically address the upcoming Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power adaptation from Amazon Prime Video. He said, quote, "What Amazon is doing to Tolkien is an abomination. The people doing the work obviously don't understand the original work. They're adding elements that are very 2022 in it, that 5 years from now are going to appear laughable. They're taking a timeless tale and setting it basically in our contemporary zeitgeist, and it's just wrong, he explained. And I can elaborate a little bit more about this. As we mentioned earlier, I'm a Star Trek fan. You know, my parents love Star Trek. I love the original series. I love Next Generation. Enterprise was okay. Deep Space Nine was okay. But anyways, you know, I grew up just watching those. And no, I can't do those episode names like I can Batman the Animated Series, but I enjoyed it. If you have seen any modern Star Trek, it's unrecognizable. It is nothing but woke garbage. I mean, Star Trek Discovery literally cast Stacey Abrams as the president of Earth. And Picard, season 2, they literally, instead of showing us, you know, the future that Star Trek originally envisioned, which was pretty awesome by all standards.
Very unifying.
Very unifying. I mean, there were problems, but overall, it was an optimistic view of what humanity could accomplish. They travel back to 2024, note the year, because something happened in 2024 that led to humans in the future being human supremacists. And while they're there, their Hispanic captain, I guess I'll say, yeah, Hispanic captain, gets captured by ICE, and there's actually a subplot about saving him from the evil ICE facilities.
Oh my God, it makes my head hurt.
It really does, and that's just it. They've come out and said they have no interest in continuing the story or the themes of previous Enterprise. They literally are retelling the tale with the same people, their story.
Well, because they want a human boogeyman, and they want to preach to everyone around them.
Yep.
Instead of understanding that not everyone around them is a horrible person, and maybe having hope that humanity actually will get its crap together and move forward.
Optimism is suspiciously missing from all this woke crap.
I know.
And they're not optimistic people. I mean, say what you will about Star Trek, and it definitely went downhill, especially when you got to like the movies and such, but I'm talking about the Next Generation movies. I ain't bashing the originals. Anyways, got to make sure we specify there. Say what you will about it, but it was always optimistic. You know, the story always ended on a happy note. If you watched season 1 of Picard, you literally saw a guy on screen get his eye ripped out. I mean, it is sick. And they insert this crap in there because that's how they view the world. It's bloody, it's dour, it's gross.
Well, we've all went from being Marvel to now we're DC.
Yeah, exactly.
We're dark and gritty.
Of course, the irony of that is, like, the DC that they paved wasn't the DC that we should have gotten because we've seen the Snyder Cut and we loved it.
Oh, don't even get me started on the Snyder Cut. I didn't even watch the original.
No, that's just the thing. I have seen them all.
I've just seen clips of it.
She has not seen, let's see, did you see Man of Steel?
No.
Did you see Suicide Squad?
No.
You saw Wonder Woman?
Yep.
You saw Aquaman?
Yes.
Basically, you didn't see any of the early, you didn't see Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Okay. First off, as always, you have more IQ than I do. However, you missed everything. You actually didn't even see the...
Well, and I could tell from the memes...
The Justice League. Justice.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I did not see the original Justice League, like, the release.
Yeah. I wasn't even going to show you the Snyder Cut. I actually started watching it when it came out because I was very interested in the whole backstory of everything that happened. And when that came out, I was like, this is going to be great. And I was like, hey, do you want to watch this? And you're like, I didn't see the other ones. And I was like, yeah, you're right. They were all bad. This will probably be bad. And it wasn't. It blew me away.
And the thing is, I think
I dragged her into the room.
Yeah,
and I said,
you watched
part
of it and then said, hey, you know, I really think that you should watch this because you know what I enjoy in my entertainment is that it needs to be entertainment.
Yes.
Because as soon as they turn on that switch of I'm talking down to you as a viewer and I'm preaching to you, like I go to church to connect with who I want to be preached from, not watching a movie for who I want to be preached from. You go there for
escapism.
Exactly.
Not everything needs to be set in current day with
current
day
And the idea
themes.
that an alien comes to Earth who could basically wipe us all out but is a good guy, and then we have like the rogue vigilante who is the super detective but his parents died so his backstory is tragic, and then you've got, you know, the Wonder Woman like I love all of these characters. I hate when they take them super dark and gritty because I don't like depressive stories.
No.
I like stories that make me feel like humanity is moving towards a time where they are better off.
Which is what superhero movies used to be. It was about like look at this situation this person finds themselves in, but it's okay because there's always hope. They will find a way out of it.
And I'm like an old school Comic-Con fan because of my dad's connection with one of the artists. Like we have Batman drawn up in the attic.
Yeah, the original Batman artist, or one of them, yeah.
From the 80s, you know? So it's like back in the day, kind of touched on the sphere of it, went to a Comic-Con when I was, I think, like 10 or something.
Absolutely.
Down in Detroit. But it was always a very happy experience. It was always like upbeat. And the reason that you do cosplay and stuff like that is to step into the realm of fantasy.
Show your support.
Yes.
Show how much of an impact it had on you.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
if I wanted to get into the realistic side, I wouldn't do cosplay and pretend like I was politicking.
Right. Of course not. Of course not. You wouldn't be like, I'm AOC dressed as Wonder Woman, you know?
Yes. That's just ridiculous to melt those two together and like your superheroes are your superheroes for a reason. Your politicians probably, I mean, they can be great people, but don't turn them into superheroes.
No, and don't turn yourself into one either. Main character syndrome is a big problem these days.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be fighting through the struggles of oppression and yada, yada, yada. Andrew Breitbart famously said, politics is downstream from culture.
Well, I mean, that's our white privilege speaking.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Is that what that is, man? I thought my card had expired. Maybe I should go check it. Maybe it's got a couple stamps left on it. Oh, ridiculous. Yeah. I guess it all just comes down to, like, they can't create. They can only corrupt. And this, again, I mean, like, if you were to say to me, hey, you want to watch this whole series, or do you want to watch a 20-year-old movie, a trilogy that you know is good?
Well, we'll rewatch The Lord of the Rings anytime.
Anywhere.
Even sit down and do the extended cut. Like,
that would be a day. But yes, I would. I mean, I'd have to make a day of it. Granted, I marathoned Dragon Ball Z back in high school, and it was nonstop, like 24/7. It was fantastic. So I'm definitely down for the long grind, but I guess, this is just, it's indicative of the problem and where the problem takes us, and the fact that it keeps taking over our culture, keeps doing this, and that we just need to create new, because they're not creating new, they're only corrupting what is already made. So if we create new, that is a form of cultural impact that could be had. So it's just one of those things where don't let it discourage you. Don't let the mockery they make of things you enjoy make you think that creativity is at a down point, or that, we can only re-envision things that have already been done. No, there's plenty of space for creativity.